Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Bhakacharya Asta Terasata Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Bhakacharya Asta Terasata Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Shri Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. See, it's nice chanting. I can chant nicely, but but I also become annoyed. So you can judge. You need, with some background, additional input, you should be able to understand what is my position, what is your position. Oh, I don't have my glasses. Where is Narayan?
He left.
He left. Why?
I don't know. He has his time.
I was once reading about the quality of truthfulness. So, in chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita, the definition of truthfulness is given. Which verse? Can you look up? Your machine is here. 50. There's an index. Well, I from memory, you can confirm. The definition is given to speak things as they are.
10.4.
Pardon?
10.4. 10.4.
10.4. It's in the middle of a long paragraph. This is a very nice chapter. It gives definition of terms. Can somebody find it? Very long purport. Well, you can search from my memory, because I've had some familiarity with this verse for a long time, but I was just looking again today. Truthfulness means to speak things as they are. In modern society, though, largely one does not do so. One is sort of diplomatic, not exactly diplomatic, but yes, diplomatic, in order to maintain one's the impression of others of you. You speak in a certain way, isn't it? And what you speak, that is the focus, not on the truth of what you're speaking. But Lord Krishna and the Acharyas here define that truthfulness is to speak things as they are. Of course, that is not always possible, because sometimes the audience is of a violent, vengeful nature, and if you speak the truth, they'll attack you. So common sense is required. Oh, that has come. Don't turn it off completely. Try reducing one step. From in Bhagavad Gita, it is explained that the Vedas, the Vedic literature, that means the Vedas and the Upanishads and the Itihasas and the Puranas. Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata, it is Itihas, history, but it's the essence of all Vedic understanding. That is not known at present in the world, except by a few people. Officially, in India, there are many people still who honor the Shastras, but they actually don't know the contents. The other day we had a small argument, myself and Mohan, and while I was sitting and talking, that formerly there was vast printed literature, but that was destroyed in foreign invasion. And his argument was that this has resulted in a steep decline in understanding of spiritual truths, which he assumes was the subject matter of all this literature. But I argued that this is, on what basis he makes this statement, that in fact there are many old books. Of course, we have to understand the background, the chronology, that this is Kali Yuga, and memory is short, and therefore things have to be written down. When formerly, in previous yugas, learned people knew the Vedic rituals, they knew the philosophy, the Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda. What is the first? Karma Kanda. Then. Jnana Kanda. Thank you. Jnana Kanda and Upasana Kanda. So people knew generally. Excuse me. They knew generally the subject matter of the Vedas and other Vedic literature means itihasas, histories, and smritis, rules and regulations for everyday conduct, and Puranas, history. But in Kali Yuga, people's memory is very much, power of memory is very much reduced. So these things are not generally known. But he was arguing that there were so many books that people did know, but which are those books? He doesn't know. Nobody knows. My own personal experience in trying to study some Ayurveda or architecture, particularly in relation to Rath design. There are many old books. They're actually poorly. They're not up to the standard of Vedic literature. The language is not proper. Is not of a high level, and the factual information is inconsistent. In other words, in Kali Yuga, maybe to demonstrate I am a Brahmin, so I'm writing Sanskrit, and they were writing on palm leaves and other such things. But they were not actually qualified. In Kali Yuga, this is one of the characteristics that those who claim to be Brahmins, for the most large extent, and at present for the most part, they're not qualified. So what they're writing is not acceptable as Vedic literature. It's not truth. Just like Mataji is just retired as principal of Vivekananda College. So I hope that the standard there was good. But from my personal experience, I spent 8-9 years in university. A lot of professors they're morally and intellectually they're not Brahmins. The modern education system, modern universities are filled almost entirely with ordinary people, although somewhat intelligent. They can write books on different subjects, mostly now technology. But they don't take responsibility for the possible effects of this technology. See? Albert Einstein and the other atomic scientists, Niels Bohr, and they developed understanding of atomic structure. What was the result? The atomic bomb, which did and can be used any day to kill lakhs or millions of people, innocent people, more or less innocent. I say more or less because in Kali Yuga, pollution is everywhere. It is very hard to find a real Brahmin. Real Brahmin means pure, without defects in character. He's truthful. So this is the subject I was reading. What is truthfulness? But most modern discourse is conventional, that it satisfies the public, the conventional ideas. See, we have the idea that some group of people is superior. We have the idea that in ancient times people were primitive. We have the idea that what is the basis of these? It is not supported by real evidence. What is real evidence? Yeah, I subscribe, I've mentioned before, I subscribe to a YouTube channel called Ancient Archaeology or something like that. So some very interesting things. Almost every day something new comes up. Some archaeological artifacts are found in some remote place in any part of the world and is dated. Highly complex technology or art is involved in making them, and the date is anywhere from several thousand to several millions of years. So if there was advanced civilization millions of years ago, then how can you be teaching standard history that modern civilization only began 5,000 years ago with the Greeks, isn't it? That's the modern idea, isn't it? In the West. In India, still there are many people who understand that Vedic history stretches back kalpas, eons and eons, and it's cyclic. After a cycle of yugas, 4 yugas, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam. What is that verse? That the ages are they're cyclic. In the West, this is appreciable, or not in the West, in northern areas, because you have 4 seasons. So the yugas are just like the seasons. Satya Yuga is like spring, and Dvapara Yuga, autumn. Treta Yuga is like autumn, rather. Dvapara Yuga is like summer. And Kali Yuga is like winter. My parents had a book by, I think it was Somerset Maugham. I don't know. They were not very literate, but they had some books. And he was considered the author. Their circle of friends used to go to libraries. So the title of the book was "Now is the Winter of Our Discontent." See, in winter, the other day I was saying that in the northern reaches in Scandinavia, in winter, the suicide rate is very high. This was being discussed with Prabhupada. Why? Because it's all dark, and intellectually they are not illuminated, so they feel depressed by the darkness, and they jump in the fjord. So in Kali Yuga, now we find that as far as Vedic understanding, practically teaching was done by Brahmins. Brahmins means they have these qualities. Satyam, Socham, clean, pure, knowledgeable, compassionate, so many qualities. Which chapter is that? Bhagavad Gita, qualifications. But nowadays, they may look very clean and take bath 3 times a day, but they have some bad habits, like watching certain TV channels. I remember hearing that the head pujari of Tirupati used to go to Bangalore on weekends to attend the horse races. That's gambling. He was betting on the horse races. That's not sattvic. So there practically no Brahmins. It is our fortune that we are in contact with this this sampradaya. Sampradaya means tradition, but tradition based on the authority of Shastra. There are many people who follow tradition without authority. In South India, you find, I argue with one of our members that he never gives any praman for anything he says. This, I say, why are you saying that? He says, it's tradition. So I decided, I looked up on the internet and I found a website of Tamil Brahmins. And they were similarly saying things that you have to do like this at this time of day, and do like this and do like that. And one of their own members questioned, what is the praman? Where is the praman for all these things you're saying? And the editors of the web page had no answer. They have no praman.